Welcome to a new week of PB Applied. So let's start it off with putting the PB lens over my life. So the current role I'm running at the moment is signal carrier. Actually, I'm preempting that I'll be carrying that role. So that's my system's function. I will soon enough be in environments that I don't particularly want to be in. My system state, it is gap void. So externally, I haven't seen lock. The system is holding me in that suspended state. And law, it's still calibrating. I haven't talked much about codes yet, but that's the delivery mechanism. So you move from expressed into executed. Active code for me at the moment is seal point because remembering it's executed, I am sealing my structure against collapse. So even though I've had to make the decisions to enter into environments I don't want to be in, I've chosen not to move from collapse, but those moves are made to anchor, to stabilize my environment, my situation. We've got to go back to a little bit PB textbook here. Law is what you are structurally. That's what the field responds to. That's why I call it law. Your structure is law that grants, and that may be collapse that it's granting, or it could be clear build. That law locked base becomes wider as difficulties and undesirable situations occur, but you're locked, you stay stable, you hold. It's a distortion to think that, like I have the tattoo on the back of my neck that says in Hebrew, endure. So at one point in my life, I thought, yeah, you can do whatever to me and I can survive it. The build doesn't come from hardship. You do lock your base and then hard things happen and you stay placed. It's an important distinction that because hard things happen, that's not what creates the build. And when I say that the field obeys, obedience looks like build. But again, life happens. You may experience chaos in the field. You might experience these undesirable situations. Delay does not mean that you're not law locked. Distortion in the field means you're not law locked. That's why it's important to read the field and diagnose exactly what is going on. Driving home, I was going through the roundabout and indicated right, because as I enter, you can go straight through or take the second exit out of it. And I was doing the second exit, so I've got my indicator on. And there was a car behind me that, as I was exiting, that honked at me, which I get honked at all the time. And I have no idea why. I was on the phone the other day. I'm a little bit more distracted and happy to go 2 kilometers under the speed limit. But I had a guy honking at me and was just having a melt. It made me think I can talk to you about law. The law that reality responds to is different to field law. They're specific to the place, the company, or the space that you're entering. And unfortunately, you have to jump through silly hoops, often pay extra money, and do things that make no sense. So when I say law, what I'm meaning is it's the structural rule that reality always obeys. Movement only builds when it aligns with law and collapses the moment it doesn't. Now to the random adventures of Leora. I'm at a cafe, was going to meet someone. I'm early because the dogs got washed and they finished early, so I'm here early. Now the cafe's supposed to be open and I'm parked at the gate that's closed for it. So I've just walked in and we're sitting here. It's very pretty. It's more pretty over the other side where you eat, but I don't know. I have no reception, so I can't call. I wonder how long we'll be waiting here to go through. PB applied videos are good for me because even last week's, for example, when I was talking about looping, and I said the same things throughout the whole video, which I am aware of, but the meaning of those words at the start of the week were completely different to at the end of the week. And it was only when I watched it back that I realized how deeply you can say the same words. Oh, someone's pulling up. You can say the same words, but they can have a very different meaning depending on your placement. Yeah, I'll just wave. Here we go. You'll have to find it because there's no park. She'll hopefully figure out that you got to park beside me. Maybe this is it, right? The shenanigans of life. I'm not the best driver. I can't park on. I get scared about parking on grass because you think, am I going to be able to drive off? I'm going to stop here though so I can figure out what we're doing. Talk soon. Good morning. I am early for the gym, so it'll be a quick one because I'm not that early for the gym. But I want to talk to you about law in relationships. So relationships follow law. If the person's structure hasn't changed, the same pattern keeps playing out, which has happened this week. And I'm shocked by how unshocking the same thing is that's kept happening, if that makes sense. Different people, because they've got, and I have my structure, they have their structure, but it can even be 10 years or I haven't spoken to you for 2 years and then they'll message and get in contact, and it really is the same pattern playing out over and over and over again. The point being, the pattern will keep playing out also in relationships unless the structure changes. So relationships also follow law, not what you wish, you hope, you want, or feel should happen. Okay, now I'm early for catch-ups with the girls. This week seems to be all about me in the car and being early, but I'm very proud of myself. Have a look. I reverse parallel parked into that spot just there, and I never normally can do that, so I'm really proud of myself. But take a look around at where we're at. So very nice, we like that. The other theme this week seems to be me in the car, and I think I may have gotten a fine, one of those extortionate fines because of field law. I touched my phone for like 3 seconds at the lights when it was a red light, and I think that it had the camera because I could see a sign saying there's cameras always here. I don't know what the camera was about, but hopefully I don't have a fine. And again, it's just another example of field laws. So to conclude this week, law is held within my own structure, but then there's also the external law within the field. So you have from driving, cars, parking, showing up early, patterns within relationships. They each have their own field law. The thing about the PB way, you learn to hold structure within those different environments. It takes correction, adjustment, and keeping with it. I'm going to leave it there for this week. Read the system, run the tools, recode your life at thepbway.com.